Hello.
Hello.
All right.
Yeah.
We gotta do it quietly this week.
Yeah.
In case we get heard by anything.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't the best medium for talking about things when you have to be quiet.
No. I mean, we could have done it in sign language, but that really doesn't translate to the podcast.
No. So what did you think of A Quiet Place?
Shh. I thought it was good.
Good. All right.
What did you think?
Hold on. Let me just turn up my hearing aid.
Well, that's much better. Hello and welcome to How to Survive, episode 141. And we're going 1 for 1 this week. Last week was a bad film, and we want a good one this week. Mm-hmm. Do you think we'll get it, Chris? Joining me as ever, as you are.
I know we're in for a good one.
Good, because this week is John Krasinski's 2018 silent movie, A Quiet Place. The movie is still in cinemas in the UK and probably around the world.
Yep.
And it's quite good. Recommend you go and see it.
It's quite good.
If you haven't seen it, go and see it, because we're going to talk about it at length. And we're going to spoil it.
Yeah.
Because
we're going to talk about it at length, at breadth, at depth.
Yeah. Volume, Chris, there. Describing volume, which is something that's absent from the plot.
Banned, in fact. Yeah. Outlawed.
Yeah. Now,
it's like Flashdance, where they banned dancing. Only this time, they banned making any noise at all.
Yes. So we're going to talk about it, but we'll have to have a trailer first.
Yeah.
And then we'll recap the plot.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen A Quiet Place, this is your last chance to creep off silently before we ruin it.
Now, quiet down and listen to this. Hi again, Chris.
Oh, that was tense, wasn't it?
Yeah. Good trailer. Good. So I'm going to do a quick recap of the plot.
Okay.
We usually write our own. This week it's from Wikipedia.
Yeah.
I don't want to be passing off Wikipedia's work as my own.
Yeah, exactly. You,
Full
just in
credit where
case
it's due.
the author of the A Quiet Place plot
Yes,
summary.
this is Jimmy Wales. So thanks for him for getting in touch with this. Over 3 months in 2020, most of Earth's human population has been wiped out by sightless creatures with hypersensitive hearing known as the Death Angels. I don't remember any of this.
I think it's in one of the headlines on the.
That's
a
a pretty rich headline. God Almighty! I didn't.
Well, you see the 3 months later, 3 months, or like day 90 or something is the first intertitle, right?
Yeah.
And then I think the Death Angels or Dark Angels or whatever.
Death Angels.
Yeah, I think that's on one of the newspaper headlines that is in his basement.
Great. Well, good discussion point after one sentence.
Great. Good so far.
I'm already lost.
Yeah.
Boasting considerable size, speed, and a seemingly impenetrable armoured shell, they use their auditory acuity to locate and attack anything that makes noise. The Abbott family, husband Lee, wife Evelyn, sons Marcus and Beau, and deaf daughter Regan, silently scavenge for supplies while communicating non-verbally through American Sign Language.
Which they know because of the deaf daughter.
Yes, correct. Lee takes a toy space shuttle from Bo, warning him that its noise could attract the creatures. Regan returns the toy to Bo, who activates it when the family is near a bridge. Its noise causes a creature to appear, killing him.
It sets its stall out early.
It
doesn't
does,
it?
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
This is pre-title.
Yeah, and it is as like without showing any blood or whatever. It's probably as violently as you can kill a 4-year-old boy on screen, without it being like tasteless.
Yeah. Very, very tasteful, is what you're saying.
It's tastefully done.
Yeah. Tastefully maimed by a death angel.
Yeah.
Year later, the family survive on their farm. Regan still struggles with the guilt over her brother's death, and Evelyn is in the final stages of a pregnancy. Lee attempts to repair Regan's cochlear implant, but the device fails to restore her hearing. Later, Lee takes Marcus to a nearby river to teach him to fish, while Regan visits Bo's grave. Lee explains to Marcus that they will always be safe from the creatures so long as louder sounds mask their audible movements. On their way back home, they encounter a homeless old man whose wife has been killed by the creatures, and he commits suicide by screaming as Lee and Marcus run and hide behind a tree while the man is killed by a creature. Alone at the house, Evelyn goes into labour. While making her way to their specially modified soundproof basement, she steps on a large nail.
Oh, yeah. And boy, they set that up like about 10 minutes beforehand.
Yeah.
And you know, like the old Hitchcock thing of like showing a bomb under the table.
Yeah.
And then they
waiting
show
for it
the
to
fucking nail on the step.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
dear.
like your whole hand is in your mouth waiting for waiting for it. Waiting for that particular bomb to go off.
And it sure does.
Yeah. Good, very good acting by Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
Like the
I've trodden on a nail
Yeah.
and don't want to make any noise.
yeah. Best I've trodden on a nail and don't want to make any noise acting I've ever seen.
In agony, she accidentally drops a glass picture frame and alerts a nearby creature. Evelyn flips a switch that changes the exterior house lights to red as a danger signal to the others, and struggles to remain silent during her contractions. Arriving at the farm and seeing the lights, Lee instructs Marcus to set off fireworks as a diversion. He finds Evelyn hiding in the bathroom with their newborn son. The baby starts crying, attracting a creature, and they narrowly avoid another attack on their way to the basement. Lee leaves to find the other children after promising Evelyn he will protect them. Evelyn falls asleep, but wakes to find that the basement is flooded with water from a broken pipe, and that a creature is stalking her. Regan hurries back to the farm. She and Marcus take refuge atop a grain silo, lighting a fire to alert their father to their whereabouts. A hatch door gives way and Marcus falls into the silo. He sinks into the corn and nearly suffocates, but Regan jumps in and saves him. They avoid further danger by clinging to the fallen silo door and survive a subsequent creature attack by hiding under it. Regan's repaired cochlear implant reacts to the proximity of the creatures by emitting a piercingly loud high-frequency sound that drives the creatures away. The children escape from the silo and reunite with Lee. The end. The creature returns and Lee attacks it with a Pulaski. What's a Pulaski?
It's like an axe that's got a spike on the other end.
Oh, yeah? I would have
Like
said
a spike pickaxe.
like a pickaxe.
and-
Yeah, I'd have said a pickaxe.
Yeah, but it's got an axe on one end, I think.
Cool. Good stuff. While he's attacking it with a Pulaski, Marcus and Regan hide in a pickup truck.
Yeah.
Lee is wounded and Marcus shouts, attracting the creature to the truck. Lee uses sign language to tell Regan that he loves her before sacrificing himself to draw the creature away from his children. Regan and Marcus roll the truck down a hill to escape and reunite with Evelyn and the baby at the farmhouse. The end. Regan, not having been allowed in the basement previously, sees her father's notes on the creature and on his experimentation with several different cochlear implants. When the creature returns to invade the basement, Regan places the boosted implant on a nearby microphone, magnifying the feedback to ward off the creature. Painfully disoriented, the creature exposes the flesh beneath its armoured head, rendering itself vulnerable to a shotgun blast from Evelyn. Security monitors show 2 other creatures approaching. With their newly acquired knowledge of the creature's weakness, Evelyn and Regan prepare to fight back. And that is how A Quiet Place ends.
Yep.
With Emily Blunt locking and loading a shotgun, winking at the camera, and John Krasinski presumably stood behind the camera saying, "Great take, honey."
Again. I like the ending.
Really?
I do like the ending, yeah. It's like in what is a sort of unendingly bleak film, in which, like, before that point, the most they've been able to fight back is through Lee screaming and, like, sacrificing himself.
Right, yeah.
It's like it would be something else entirely if they showed the, like, ensuing fight,
Right,
and Evelyn became her Emily Blunt's character from Edge of Tomorrow or whatever.
That's basically what I was saying, yeah.
But just having the, like, cocking of the shotgun is like a satisfying and sort of, like, I think knowingly, like, it is a wink to the camera, basically.
Yeah, they're taking control. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, and it's basically the most economic way of showing that perhaps this is, like, the beginning of a turning point for humanity, right? Because they figured this out. And it doesn't go as far as to, you know, have, here they are 3 years later and it's fine.
Yeah.
And they don't show them gunning down hordes of the creatures, and they don't show the army with giant, like, feedback machines on trucks driving around, right? They just show, like, maybe, even if it only lasts for, like, 2 minutes, this one family have a chance to fight back a little bit, right? And, you know, they may very well still all die.
They will.
Yeah.
We'll all die, mate.
But yeah. They may very well all still be killed by those monsters that are coming.
Yeah. Well, I think the suggestion is that they're going to kill those 2 at least.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, yeah. I think it's like a little cocked eyebrow at the end of what is an otherwise extremely distressing, very tense, and sort of quite upsetting film.
So I think I get the sense that you quite liked it.
I really liked it, yeah. I think it's basically the perfect example of a high concept horror movie. Like, I can't think of any high concept horror movies that we've covered that are significantly better than it.
What do you mean by high concept?
High concept is like, you know, it's a very simple idea that you could pitch to someone in an elevator and they would understand it, right?
Yeah, the famous example is Alien is Jaws in space.
Right, exactly. This is, you know, slightly harder to explain. Like, you know, family can't make noise, otherwise monsters will eat them.
Yeah.
Like, that's compelling. And the good thing about it is that the concept is good enough that you'll spend the next few days thinking about how you'd go about it.
Yeah.
And how you'd go about surviving. Like, you make a cup of tea and you are suddenly conscious of all the noise that you're making.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Right. That's what's so good about it.
My dad keeps buying kettles, right?
Okay.
Because he thinks they're silent kettles. They're marketed as silent kettles.
Right.
And every time they're like a
deafening.
Yeah, they're a Boeing jet taking off. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's. I mean, I want to have a web of trading standards.
Yeah, of course.
Because he would be killed by a monster if he.
Oh, thank God! I can still use my silent kettle.
Exactly. We'll still have hot water. Don't worry.
It's basically a feature-length version of that basement scene from War of the Worlds.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Which is the best scene in War of the Worlds, or one of the best scenes in the War of the Worlds. And like I think the film is at its strongest when it's Evelyn in labour, or Evelyn when she's in the flooded room.
It's basically Evelyn, isn't it? She's the strongest part of the
film. She's like, Emily Blunt is a fantastic actress.
Yeah.
John Krasinski is a really good actor as well.
Yeah.
Like, Jim from The American Office is pretty weird that he's
a talented actor and director. It turns out.
and also like it's an odd thing. Like with him and with Jordan Peele, there seems to be a sort of cultural shift towards seeing horror movies as having more cultural cachet than they did a few years ago. Like, more cultural worth.
I think it's flattering to John Krasinski to compare him to
Jordan Peele.
Yeah, in the sense of it's flattering to compare A Quiet Place to Get Out, I think.
Sure, they are very different films, and Get Out certainly has a lot more thematic depth.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily, I think you're going to talk about this in a bit, but I don't necessarily think that A Quiet Place is aspiring to the same thematic levels that Get Out is.
We'll talk about that later. Yeah. I do want to talk about it, but I don't get me wrong. I think, often on this podcast, it comes across that I'm the one who needs to be convinced about everything.
Right. Okay.
And that's not and it might come across that later on, but I did like the film. Yeah. I did enjoy it. I was riveted. And like you said, I think the nail scene, basically when she becomes pregnant.
When she becomes pregnant.
Yes, when she becomes pregnant, that scene. So my favourite part was essentially the scene or collection of scenes between Emily Blunt going into labour, and then putting the baby in the baby box,
right?
Which is the bleakest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
The teenagers in the cinema were laughing, and I thought, like, and I went to see it with my wife, and she's like, "Why would you laugh at that?" And I was like, "Well, if you took that scene out of context and just had like these people just like putting a baby in a box with gas, there's
an element of humour.
Exactly. It's like what the fuck is happening? It's surreal. But in the context of the movie, it's pretty depressing.
Yeah.
But it goes from like, oh no, she's going to have to make noise because she's in labour. Oh no, she's going to tread on the nail. Oh no, she's trodden on the nail.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's pretty horrible. And then she's like slipping in her own blood and stuff. And you're like, oh, mate.
Yeah, she's not in a good way.
That is an amazing bit of movie making.
Yeah, definitely.
But that said, it's nothing that you haven't seen elsewhere. It's done excellently.
Yeah.
But it's stuff taken from, hero pieces from horror from before.
Yeah.
You described it to me after you saw it as Don't Breathe meets Jurassic World.
Right. Jurassic Park, maybe I meant?
Maybe.
Jurassic Park, I think I meant. Like the kitchen...
the raptor in the kitchen.
Yeah. I mean, specifically the bit where they're both hiding behind the grain.
Yeah. That's like the T-Rex attacking the car.
Well, yeah, that's it. Well, and they're in a car at one point being attacked. Yeah. So it is very Jurassic Park, and it's very Don't Breathe as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in some ways.
Yeah.
The pregnancy in this one does appear to be voluntary, at least.
Yes, voluntary. Yeah, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very very good performances all the way through. Like even the kids, they seemed. I mean, child actors can often be sort of frustrating and annoying.
Yeah,
they weren't, and like they were. I'd go as far as to say that they were good. I thought the production design was really interesting, and they'd really thought through every single part of like how their lives. How they would exist.
Yeah.
Like the sand walkways.
That's genius.
Like there's no doors anywhere because you don't want doors like blowing or slamming or anything like that.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Like everything, like their Monopoly board has all like soft pieces. like every single facet of their lives.
I thought that was just because they didn't they'd lost the pieces.
No, it's because it's got to be quiet, right?
That's genius.
Yeah, and like the most tense part of any horror movie is that moment just before a jump, right? And this film is basically that feeling drawn out to the like feature length.
2.5 hours. Yeah.
2.5 hours. Yeah, it's a 90-minute film.
Yeah.
Well,
I was very anxious for an hour before seeing it as well. So yeah. It was interesting. I mean, you mentioned that it's a pretty gut punch way to start the film. Yeah, I worry that
murdering a 5-year-old child.
Yeah. Murder those kids. Yeah. That is the promotional scene, isn't it?
But I didn't think that's how it would end.
No, exactly, because it cuts 1 second before, right? Usually, you've seen it on like Jonathan Ross or whatever.
Yeah.
When they're talking about it, and it's just, oh, this is a scene, and they go, oh, that's tense, isn't it? And Krasinski must be sat there going, yeah, 1 second over and see the child get killed. That's good.
Like the thing is that it shows you how desperate the situation is, because like what is his plan when he gets hold of it, right? I presume it's going to be throw the thing, like throw the
lob
toys
it away.
Yeah. But he's running at like 30 miles an hour. Like, he's gonna like. It looks like he's going to fucking spear tackle his 4-year-old boy. Like,
with good reason.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's no less than he deserves, Joe. Like, I think if there was one criticism, and I want to talk about some of the criticism that the film has had later, but one fair bit of criticism I think you could level at the film is that there appears to be quite a lot of inconsistency in terms of how much noise
is acceptable.
Seems to attract the monsters. But that didn't matter for me when I was watching the film.
The way I saw it was you play it safe every time, right?
Yeah.
It depends if the monster's nearby because they roam, right?
Yeah.
So you might get bad luck and it's just the end of your driveway.
Yeah.
And if you creak a floorboard, you're done for.
Yeah.
Whereas they could be 5 miles away, so you could break every window in the house and they won't hit you. Right?
Yeah.
That's basically what I thought.
I tell you one thing that has stuck with me as well. It's the close-ups of the like concentric ear.
Yeah.
Of the monster.
It's very, very good creature design.
Yeah, I thought so as well. Horrible.
Yeah.
As well. Like, it's like, if you haven't seen it, I mean, it's a shame that you're listening, really. But but thank you. But the design of the ear is essentially that it's like several concentric, like pulsating, quivering orifices.
It's like if you were designing a shape to catch sound.
Yeah.
And it like
and
swivels
it's huge
as well.
Yeah, it's huge as well.
Yeah.
And it's like it's undulating and pulsating. It is horrible. And like, there's several shots of those ears like in full frame close up as they're like seeking out the sound.
It reminds me a bit of, it's a bit different, but in Alien when they look at the trackers and it's like beep, 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 beep. And you sense that if this ear turns towards the character, you're like, oh, it's curtains.
Yeah. And I guess that is what it's doing, right? Yeah. It's like the equivalent of dogs that have like pointed ears.
Yeah.
They can.
Yeah. Pretty grim stuff.
It is horrible.
Now, you mentioned it earlier, but something I thought in this film is, and this comes from watching John Krasinski talking about it in interviews leading up to it.
Yeah.
And he said he wanted to make a film about family and he wanted to make a film about what it means to be a father. And I don't think it really does that, right? Because that only works if his reading of what it means to be a father is it means a man has to be strong and teach his son how to be strong, and a woman needs to do the laundry and look after the children, and her daughter needs to do the same. Which is there was an important scene towards the middle of the film where that dynamic is played out in people talking to each other in sign language. But you expect it to be challenged. You think because the young girl wants to go and basically learn how to be an action hero, and the boy wants to stay at home, that they'll say, okay, these are strengths of these people. He wants to stay home and look after the house and look after the mother. She wants to go away and learn their stuff. You think they're going to twist it, but they don't. And at the end, it's just like, well, you've basically not challenged anything.
Yeah, I guess I read that less as like a gendered thing and more of like considering that it comes off the back of him trying to fit her for a new version of her implant. I think you would have to consider that she's a bit of a liability. Yeah. Like if she's wandering along, to the waterfall,
making tons of noise without knowing it.
Like she wouldn't know. So I would think that that's possibly,
but it's not satisfying in that sense.
No, I understand.
But I like a movie with a character arc. The son's character arc is probably the strongest because he's panicky at the beginning, and by the end he's learned that you don't have to be worried all the time as long as you're in control of the situation.
Yeah.
And I think at the beginning, John Krasinski's character is the only one putting his finger to his lips and telling everyone to be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end, the boy does it to quiet everyone down. It's like he's taking control.
Right.
He's had a character arc. He's learned.
Yeah.
He's learned something. The daughter's arc is basically that she realizes her dad doesn't hate her.
Yeah.
But that's more like his arc, isn't it?
I suppose so, but it only is his arc because it's the last significant thing that he does before he kills himself.
Yeah.
But like I liked that as a cinematic moment.
I know.
Where
he's like, I loved you.
I've always loved you, and
yeah. But you see, it's not her. She doesn't then do anything with that.
No.
She's still a damsel, and then basically by accident.
Well, no, but she does help them.
But by an accident engineered by her father. By accident.
Sure.
It's just
no, I'm not disagreeing with you. No.
The mother's arc is that she goes from being pregnant to not being pregnant,
right?
And then cocks a shotgun at the end.
Yeah.
And the father's arc is that he wants to help his family survive, and then helps them survive. But he doesn't like have a realization like, oh no, I can't act this way.
Yeah.
In some ways, I thought it would be, a bit more interesting if after. And this is what I was expecting after hearing Krasinski say, "What does it mean to be a family?
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean to be a father?" If maybe after the first child dies, he is just like unable to cope, and he becomes shut off.
Yeah.
And there are scenes of him in the basement on his own, and you think maybe that is what's happening.
Yeah, there's an element of that,
but not enough to be like
he's having a very quiet crisis.
Exactly, yeah, and still being he's being strong for his family. But it would be somewhat interesting if he was completely broken down by it and couldn't cope, and maybe the mother had to take the traditional father role, or one of the children had to do it. But really, it's nuclear family has baby.
Yeah.
But I do wonder, having said that, and I do accept it, that could all be asking too much of what is essentially a very high-end My First Horror movie.
I think yes and no, in that it's never a bad thing to sort of want more from the movies you watch and hope that they aspire to something grander thematically.
When we talked about Get Out earlier, it's possible if you're dense to watch that as a man gets into a difficult situation. Right. I hope he survives.
Sure.
But actually, there's a very, very thick layer of subtext, which is like, this is what happens every day to an African American.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. Like, and that's good, and like it's always a pleasure to watch films that have that depth.
Yes.
But an absence of that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad film.
No,
and
exactly.
like, if this is a shallow film, it's basically as good a shallow horror film as I've ever seen.
Yeah. But in a way, maybe Krasinski set me up for a fool with that, because if he just said, "Oh, you know what? It's exciting," it's
a laugh.
It's really tense in places.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, "Good."
I see what you mean. I think it's very much like, as much as it's a great high concept movie, it's also a slave to its concept, in the sense that that is the film.
Yeah.
Like there is nothing to the film without that concept.
Yes.
But everything, because the film is so built around that concept and it's such a good one, all the other parts of the film are great as well.
Yeah. Maybe here's an idea.
Yeah.
How can you tell your daughter you love her when she's deaf and you can't make any noise because you'll be killed by a monster?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe he should have shouted "I love you" as his moment to.
She wouldn't be able to hear it, mate. She's deaf. So.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But it would have been pointless.
Waste of time. That's why I'm not a screenwriter. Well, we've heard an awful lot, Joe, haven't we? But I tell you who doesn't hear much. And it's deaf people in movies.
Okay.
But how many deaf people in movies do you know?
Is this deaf or hearing impaired? Or are we going profoundly deaf?
Well, let's say that this quiz isn't so stringently researched,
right? Okay,
as to define a difference.
I mean, like, I'm wondering what type of communication disorder do these people have?
Well, let's use the sort of let's use the term deaf.
Yeah. To mean they can't hear.
Yeah.
Okay.
In my mostly incidental deaf characters in movie quiz. Right. So this is how this is going to work. Yeah. I'm going to describe a film, which features a deaf character. Mm-hmm. They may be a protagonist, they may be a very small part.
An antagonist?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Right. And I'm going to describe the film based around,
Their involvement.
their involvement. in the
Great.
film.
Okay.
And then you have to tell me what film it is.
Exciting.
Yeah. A deaf author in an isolated home is stalked by a masked man with murderous intent.
We've covered this one on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's Hush.
Correct. Nice, easy one to start you off.
Yeah. Hope they stay this easy.
Well, don't hold your breath. Film number 2. Nicolas Cage's deaf son just might have stumbled on the key to saving the world. Or maybe not.
I don't think I've seen it, mate. So, Nicolas Cage saving the world.
Nicolas Cage's deaf son just might have stumbled on the key to saving the world. Or maybe not.
Is it that one you always talk about? That it's like absolutely insane.
Yes, I think it is that one.
Right. I don't know what it's called, but I haven't seen it either.
You don't get a point, but it's knowing.
Right, okay.
Film number 3. In this film, a hearing couple encounter a deaf couple in an elevator and later copy their signed declaration of love.
We've covered this, have we?
No, but you've talked about it.
When did I talk about this? On air? On the podcast?
No, I don't think so. I believe it's one of your favourite films.
Yeah, I remember in a lift. Because they say it at the end, don't they?
Yeah.
Jerry Maguire!
Correct.
Yes! That's the best film ever.
Yeah.
Show me the next question, please.
Film number 4. A man's dedication to his life's work leads not only to the unravelling of his sanity, but also to the deafening of his son.
Say that again.
A man's dedication to his life's work leads not only to the unravelling of his sanity, but also to the deafening of his son.
Yeah. I know it.
Come on.
It's There Will Be Blood.
Correct.
Basket for a Boston. Basket in a basket. Basket in a basket. That's the one, right?
Film number 5. A deaf man teams up with a blind man in an attempt to impair the schemes of some murderous thieves.
It's Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
I can't remember
If you don't remember what it's called, you're going to kick yourself.
Yeah, I know. It's like, God, what is it called? I've fucking seen it. Go on.
It's see no evil, hear no evil.
Yep.
Film number 6. In this Christmas classic, a man who is deaf in one ear misses out on hearing a declaration of love from a woman he is embracing.
Is it Love Actually?
No, it's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the thing that everyone remembers
Yeah,
from that film,
yeah.
is that he's deaf in one ear.
Is he definitely
In that film.
the main
yes.
character?
Yeah. Film number 7, final question.
How would he hear the bell ringing? The angel getting
Film
his
number
wings?
7, we always can hear in the other ear.
Right.
Film number 7. This faux documentary follows a DJ who must rebuild his life after going completely deaf.
It's all gone Pete Tong.
Correct. Very good. I thought that would be too obscure.
No, mate.
Nice one.
My knowledge of movies based on 90s DJs.
Yeah.
He's not really nice. He's still going.
Well, it's not based on Pete Tong. It's
No.
a character.
It's based on...
It's based on DJs.
Yeah, he's a DJ. Pete Tong is a DJ.
I know, yeah, but Pete Tong isn't involved.
Is he in the film? He must be in the film.
I'm not sure he is.
Cameo or something. I'm not deaf, so I'm a DJ.
Well, you got Hush. You sort of got Knowing, but you didn't know the name. You got Jerry Maguire. Got There Will Be Blood. You sort of got See No Evil, Hear No Evil, but you couldn't remember the name. And then you didn't get It's a Wonderful Life, but you did get It's All Gone Pete Tong. So that's quite an impressive performance.
Yeah,
for you.
what can I say?
And it's something that we'll be hearing about in the future, I'm sure.
Oh, mate, that sort of quiz makes me want to say, you complete me. That's what it says in the
I
lift.
think so, yeah.
Good movie, mate. Honestly, Jerry Maguire, I have to say, is...
Should we do it?
There's one questionable moment in it where I think he gets a bit too handsy, a bit too kissy.
Right.
Not full on Donald Trump, but a bit like James Bond, maybe.
Right.
But he apologizes for that. He gropes her and then he apologizes, and it's like I think he's
personal
drunk.
growth.
It's
Personal growth.
that's one problem with the movie. Otherwise, it's sweet and sentimental, and it's just Oscar winning. Cuba Gooding Jr. won an Oscar for the film, and it is fucking amazing. I watched it the other day. It's so inspirational. You just wanted to come on, it's so good.
Nice.
Tom Cruise dad, the original Tom Cruise dad.
Yeah.
Possibly the first one where he is a dad.
Yeah. Maybe.
Fathering the young boy who went on to play Adam Sandler's son in Big Daddy. And his name was Frankenstein. Frankenstein, written by Mary Shelley, married to Lord Byron. And Lord Byron went on to be the name of a burger joint in London.
Are you all right?
London, the city where we live. Tell me, Chris, how would you survive if you lived in a city where you couldn't make noise?
Well, before I get on to how I would survive, I would like to intersect a lot of the mealy-mouthed, why didn't they do this sort of vein of criticism that I've seen about the film.
Don't do too much.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right, well, you might be at risk. But there's been a lot of people piping up, right, because the film and its characters don't try out the various ideas that they've come up with, right?
Yeah.
And what I'd call them, Joe, are movie survival amateurs, right?
Yeah.
So a big one that comes up all the time, why don't they move to the waterfall and live there? How are you going to do that? Right? We live there with no shelter or power. What, are you going to build a house?
Yeah.
How are you going to do that? Silently?
Yeah.
Stupid. Next one. Why would you have a baby? What's the alternative? No one ever has a baby ever again and the human race dies out. Doesn't sound very survivally to me, mate.
No. Mate, it's the net survival.
Yeah.
Net survival.
Don't let the 5-year-old out of your sight. 2 parents watching 3 children, one of whom is ill, right? And they've lasted months in this apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
It's a miracle that they've got this far. They're not bad parents, right? Imagine how much shit children of that age do day to day generally, right? In the real world when parents aren't looking and get away with it, right? So it's not the parents' fault, right? Oh, he's an idiot for playing with a toy. Yeah, he is. He's 5.
Yep.
Done.
All 5-year-olds are idiots. That's known.
Yeah. They're 5-year-olds. Oh, why not team up with the other fire people that he can see?
Yeah.
More people equals more noise equals more danger.
More risk. Spread it out.
Wouldn't the army have tried a big speaker? Well, firstly, it's not a big speaker, is it?
No.
It's not volume. It's frequency. It's feedback. It's the same thing as if you put a microphone next to a speaker and you get that horrible ringing sound, right? Right.
Let's see about that now. I can't do it.
No. Right, it's a feedback effect that's created with a very certain frequency, right? And I don't know about you, but I would not want to be the first one trying it out, because that's pretty risky, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
If let's say you're a scientist, right? Who goes, do you know what? I've noticed that they rely on sound to hunt. Maybe we can use that as a weapon against them. So what we'll do is, there's tens and tens of thousands of different frequencies that we can try blasting a huge noise out.
One of them might work.
Yeah, let's start at this one. Oh, we're all dead. Great. Brilliant. How many times can you afford to get that wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess finally, why didn't they set up speakers around the perimeter and blast noise out of there? Well, you could do that once, couldn't you? And then the monsters would destroy it. And then you've wasted an awful lot of time and energy on that. Yeah. So my slightly less mealy-mouthed one. Yeah. They fire fireworks off the top of the silo, right? Is that where they are, or are they?
I think they're in a field near the silo.
Okay, so they fire
near enough to escape up the silo afterwards.
Okay, so basically, I would put the fireworks on the silo and shoot them at an angle so that they explode at a distance away from the farm instead of directly above the farm.
Yeah.
Right? Because as they function well as a last-ditch safety measure in the event of Evelyn giving birth, right?
Yeah.
But they would still attract the monsters from around the area to the farm.
Yeah, it's inviting pressure.
Yeah. So like if they exploded even a few hundred meters away, it would probably help.
Yeah.
Right. So that's my first survival tip: is angle the fireworks away.
Yes.
From the farm.
No, I think that's perfectly fair. I think they probably do to an extent.
Yeah, I think as best they can. The toss up with that is that you have to get up to the top of the silo to light them. So you would struggle in that respect.
Yeah. Also, you'd still be. I mean, if you think of it like, if you played Abe's Odyssey,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So you say to the Mudokons, your
Right.
fellow aliens,
Follow me.
follow me. So in the sequel, some of the Mudokons are blind, and the risk is that you say follow me, and they go fine, and then just walk off a cliff.
Right.
And it becomes a bigger problem to solve.
Yeah.
Now, using that logic, if you were to have a creature, a death angel positioned, say, the other side of the farm, and you set up a firework, it's got to come through your farm, or it's going to go past where the noise was and keep coming to the farm.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah. You'd fire it away from the farm.
But it's still, the sound is still, like,
Right.
near
The
enough.
monster would still come through the farm.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I see what you mean. You're still going to have that if you fire them directly upward, aren't you?
Yeah.
They can't fly off into the sky to investigate the area around there, can they?
That we know of.
That we know of. Yeah. Yeah. What about you?
No, I can't fly either. Yeah, that's a good tip.
Put on a no-fly list.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think it would work in principle. It's got risks, but certainly can't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You're basically improving something you have to do anyway. Right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So my idea is, why don't they put up a fence that plays the sound?
Plays the sound.
Well, the
What
feedback.
sound?
The feedback.
Right.
The monsters don't like feedback.
Yeah. So is this something for Evelyn to do after?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Because
So-
this is genuinely what I thought it was going to end on, was them sat having breakfast, all of them, and being like, "Hey, pass the butter, honey,"
Yeah.
and she's like, "Oh, you're so, oh, I'm going to have another baby because I love having them so much. I can be as loud as I want."
They've got 10 children.
Yeah, and you're like, "What's going on?
Yeah.
That's crazy." And it pans outside to like a Breaking Bad season finale kind of reveal about what's really going on here.
Right.
And it's a fence post with a hearing aid on it, and
Right.
you go, gotcha.
Nice.
Smart stuff.
Yeah.
But no,
Maybe that is what they were doing. Maybe that is what they'll end up doing.
maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, I've got a bit of advice for Lee. As you might have noticed, he doesn't survive the film. Now, the bit where he tries to fight the monster, it's the only bit for me where a character behaves in a sort of slightly inconsistent way, because there's nothing about Lee's character that suggested to me that he is good at fighting or would think that he's good enough at fighting to kill one of the aliens with an axe, right? You have to be very
Is
good.
that confirmed?
I think that's where they come from. Yeah, I think it's an invasion. So don't try and fight it with an axe,
Right.
because they appear to be designed like, you know, they appear to have evolved to like maximize their capability for like
Killing things.
killing things at close range.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to get near it.
No, and he is like mortally wounded within
Instantly.
a second of coming close to one of them. Yeah, so don't do that. Maybe just throw the axe as far as you can in the other direction, or something like that.
That's exactly what I got.
Yeah.
Just throw it.
Throw the
Throw
axe.
it away. Yeah. Because they go towards the sound.
Yeah,
Just throw it away.
yeah,
Or, tell the kids to get out of the car and let it roll down the hill.
yeah.
Anything.
That's also another one. Roll the car down the hill towards the house where you're.
Yeah, pregnant wife.
Yeah,
Well, recently pregnant.
yeah.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of options. I think
Yeah.
we're both on the same page that he could have taken his chances with the wound.
Right. Well, I think possibly the film is suggesting that
It wouldn't have mattered.
he's going to die. Like, it's a bad enough wound. Like, how?
Well, we're not how
you,
to maintain a sacrifice.
No.
We're how to survive.
No, but like, how do you get better from a wound like that?
I don't know. I'd like to examine it if I was a doctor.
Yeah. Well, as a consequence of Lee's decision, Marcus screams,
Yep.
which attracts the attention of the aliens. Now, don't do that.
But don't scream.
Yeah. Basically, I don't know if you drew the same conclusion as me, Joe, but basically he needs to not do that as a matter of critical urgency.
What, screaming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, in case you or Marcus didn't realise, in their circumstances,
Yeah.
making a lot of noise is a bad idea and very dangerous.
Oh, yeah, it can be. Yeah.
His mother has just given birth essentially in silence.
Mm.
If she can do that, he can bite his tongue through a moment of emotional trauma, or should be able to.
Yeah. Yeah, his sister's not screaming.
Yeah. Like it wouldn't surprise me if Lee's final moments.
Yeah. Well, as his beheaded, as his decapitated body is like bleeding out, and his head looks on, and his synapses burn out. He just thinks my son is a disappointment. So.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's why he signs "I've always loved you" to the daughter, and not to the son, because it would not be true.
Yeah. You were wrong to think that I didn't love her.
Yeah.
I didn't love you.
Yeah.
Is what he meant to say.
Exactly.
To the kid.
Correct.
Well, fair point. I think my final one is more of a Darwinian. It's a how to survive idea for natural selection.
Right.
Right. Now, I understand that these things are meant to be highly evolved, right? Which is, obviously nonsense anyway, because everything's evolved to exactly what it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
But they're, they do get themselves into a bit of trouble, don't they? Quite frequently.
Yeah.
Like, we see several of them killed.
Right.
From blundering into places by just running in and going like, "Roar!"
Right.
So don't do that.
Well, the aliens.
Yeah.
When do we see them killed other than
Two die.
What two do we see die?
The one Krasinski kills. Or is that one survive?
How does he kill one?
The axe.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't get a good hit on it.
When it just kills him.
Yeah.
He's an idiot.
Yeah. He just gets stabbed up, and I don't think he gets a clean hit on the alien at all.
Right.
And it's like covered in armour, like bulletproof armour anyway.
Yeah. Right.
This just adds to the idea that he's an idiot for hacking it in the first place.
Yeah. Panicked, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Anyway, I mean, the bulletproof armour.
Happens to the best of us.
The bulletproof armour for skin. Good evolutionary tactic.
Yeah.
Just hearing things. They've crossed space.
Yeah.
They did that on sound, did they?
Yeah, I don't
know. We're just looking for some sound. Oh, that planet's making sound.
Yeah, could be.
We can hear it from here.
Yeah, from through the vacuum
of space. Yeah.
I wonder how intelligent they are. Whether
they travelled through space.
Yeah, but they might have just travelled on like a meteor.
How did they get on the meteor?
I don't know, mate.
This is
science fiction, isn't it?
No, it's science nonsense, is what it is. All right, how is that? They don't have any eyes, right? They're just bald faces.
I saw them as more of like a sort of parasite type thing. Like, it's just like a sort of accident that they're there.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like Alien, right?
Yeah, right.
It's just there's no reason.
It's a blunder that they've even landed there. There doesn't seem to be anything intelligent about what they're doing.
Right. So it's like if locusts infested my house or something.
Yeah.
They don't know why they're there. They're just,
and you'd have to be completely silent. Otherwise, they'd eat you alive.
Yeah, I just wonder whether they might have been better off with sight as well.
Yeah. Well, there's a good thing to consider for them.
Because when the feedback loop kicks in and they go, oh fucking hell, my one sense has been overpowered.
Yeah.
You go, well, hold on.
Yeah. If you had another one.
Yeah.
Lovely old job. Well, one final question for you, just to close things out, Joe. Yeah. Is this the best Cloverfield movie you've ever seen?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
what might have been.
Mm.
Do you think it was meant to be, or was it just
As it was at early stages, it was discussed as a Cloverfield film.
I can see why.
Yeah, or like the thing that they're doing now of
Buying spec scripts and
exactly
changing the end.
Yeah.
So that was A Quiet Place,
Mm-hmm.
and we've already risked our lives by talking loudly and at length.
Yeah.
And
please listen to this with headphones only.
Yes. If you've got any thoughts on how you would survive in A Quiet Place or any of the movies we've covered on this podcast, do get in touch. The email address is howtosurviveshow@gmail.com. You can also get in touch on Twitter @howtosurvivepod, or you might like to look us up on YouTube, which is youtube.com/howtosurvivepod. If you've enjoyed what you heard, and obviously you have because you're still listening this late in the game, so either you've been mauled by a death angel and this is just playing to nothing, except of course the death angel will destroy your iPod as well. So anyway, you're still listening, so leave us a 5-star review with your dying breaths, please, on iTunes or whatever you do use to listen to things on.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
My name's been Joe. His name's been Chris. And we'll see you next week. And until next time, Chris, something to think about.
Thanks for listening.